Hey friends, my name is Megan and welcome to episode 43 of a-knotty-mess knitting podcast. Okay, let's get right into it. We have two fully finished objects this week. They're both chest knits. They're both on time or early, woohoo! And I have some non-yarn acquisitions to talk about, but they're related-ish things. And I don't have any new cast-ons. Okay, so I'm going to talk about, I always talk about this, the plans I have for the future, my dreams and hopes. And but actually I'm going to cast on like 3 things this week. I was going to do it this past weekend, but I just wanted to power through what I had on my needles. So that's what I did. And yeah, I think that's all I have to talk about. Okay, let's get to it then. So today I am wearing my complete Stra polo top, which is a test knit for Taylor Harris, Taylor and Knits on Instagram. It is a fully buttoned down shirt, not like a quarter. I'll stand up in a second. This test is due tomorrow, technically. There was not like a hard test deadline. It's just a pattern releases tomorrow. I do want to get some notes to Taylor. We talked through some things already in the pattern, but just my final measurements and that kind of thing. This is a size 5. It's 54-inch bust. The recommended ease is 6 to 12 inches. It is intended to be an oversized, kind of like boyfriend fit polo, I guess, or button down. I made it with 4.5 millimeter needles for the whole of the knit, except for the beginning of the collar where you cast on, and that was 4 millimeter needles. The yarn is a Woolfolk Stra in the color S4. It is a 50% Ovis 21 Ultimate Merino, so 50% wool, and then 50% linen. It's 164 yards for 100 grams, but they categorize this as a DK, and I would also. It just, because it's a chainette yarn, it's lighter than a traditionally applied yarn, and with all the linen content. Okay, I washed it, I blocked it, I'm wearing it. I have opinions. Let's talk about it. So let me stand up first because I feel like you need to see it, and I'm going to show you a couple things. Okay, here we are. I'm not buttoned all the way. There are 10 buttons. I have 2 undone at the top and I have 2 undone at the bottom. It already flares a little bit at the bottom. I talked about this, and I don't even know if, like, because I was kind of rushing through the last, 50 rows. If my gauge did open up a little bit, it's possible. Or if it's just because of the way, like the sleeves cinch in your bust a little bit, and then it just, is not quite as cinched in at the bottom. If I button this, it looks, here, I'll button the last one so you can see. It looks relatively, like it's not as A-line as when it's open, obviously. And my hips do flare out, so it's going to give it more shape at the bottom. If I was a little more like apple shaped or something, like I think it would maybe not necessarily look like that. But yeah, so here it is. It's a little bit long, and I think that's a little bit more my gauge than anything. The weight, right? Like obviously it's not the heaviest thing I ever knit with being that kind of light chainette yarn, but it did definitely grow more than my swatch did. Which again, weight is going to do that every time. Your swatches is only going to tell you so much. So here is the back, and you can kind of see the collar, and you can see that it dips down a little bit. We can talk about this in a second. Which is actually probably pretty nice for like your neck and things. If I button the collar all the way up, I'll just do it because I feel like I need to show you the whole of the options we have here. And I did put buttons on the inside to help with structure for the buttons over time. It does make them a little bit harder to button though. That's just because they're tight. Okay, so this is a contiguous construction. So my short rows happen and build one shoulder seam, which is very cool. It is sitting right on top of my shoulder. When it's sitting right on top of my shoulder like that, this button up is, right at my collarbone, and the back does have that like little bit of drape. okay? If I pull it all the way forward more, it's pretty low here, which is, I don't know, awkward, I think, for a collared shirt. And my shoulder sleeves do move down, right? Like I want them back a couple inches. So if I wear it how I think it should be worn, like just structurally, this is where it sits. It's still a little bit wide in the neck, maybe, for my personal preferences, but that's okay. Okay, so I probably would not wear it untucked personally, because this is like a little bit too, I don't know, it looks it's very casual looking, which part of this look is like kind of summer retreat kind of look. So personally, I'd wear it like this. Tucked in is definitely an option for this. I don't know, it just like, I think it makes it look cuter. Like if I was gonna just wear this out for like brunch on Sunday, like I'd probably wear it like this with some jewelry or something to make it like feel a little bit, not even dressier, just like cuter. I don't know. I actually really like when it sits like this, like how the bust fits. Like it's pretty flattering. It's pretty nice. The sleeves are oversized. And again, this is oversized. So the sleeves are a little bit oversized. And right now, because of the way the collar is, hold on, they look a little uneven, but yeah, they sit like right past my elbow, like just past my elbow. It's the design choice, right? Like it is supposed to be like this. I like sleeves. So I don't even think like I don't like them. I think that maybe like the Calm Down cardigan, when you have such a big armhole and sleeves, even if you make the sleeves like proportionately the same size, sometimes you get that kind of like, you get like a weird excess fabric there. It doesn't look that strange, but yeah, I'd be more likely to wear it like this. I'd also be likely to wear it like in true millennial style, which I don't know what side. I think I'd probably untuck this side. And do that whole single tuck, like single side or whatever people do. I probably wouldn't actually wear it like this because I'm not that cool. But I did try it a couple different ways, and I'll take some pictures today. And one of the ways I will wear it is I have a pair of white jeans, which that just makes it look summery-er to do this. And this is not a typical Megan style, but there's so much length here. And it's actually, I have a tank top on here, everybody. Like, let's not worry, I'm not going to flash you anything. I actually would probably go about life like this and just have it like a little cute tie in the summer. It's also a shirt like that I would consider, you know, this like, there's go on Instagram, there's like Instagram videos like 18 ways to wear a button down, and people like do really strange things with, like, you could totally do that. This is long enough to like play with, and the fabric is forgiving enough that you could kind of do whatever you wanted to wear it comfortably for you and your style. Yeah. Let me sit back down. Well, so there it was. I tried it on. I'm wearing it. I'm gonna wear it today for the day. This is the first full day of wearing it. I've tried it on a couple of times to like try it with different outfits. And I'm gonna take pictures this afternoon. I will say, like, I probably wouldn't make this again, but also like I don't have a big place for this type of thing in my wardrobe. I think if you work in an office and you wanted like a knit button down, like this is great for that. This is totally office appropriate. If you also really like wearing like sundresses and you like this kind of top over instead of just a cardigan, like great. I don't work in an office, and I also just like, I don't tend to pick this kind, like a button down, as like a what's cute on me for date night. I think partly because I'm very scarred. I went to a school that had a dress code for high school, middle school and high school, and I had to wear collared shirts every day. So button downs or polos, and like polos look really bad on me. I don't think they look good on anybody, but that's on females, because I think that is it's made by men and they're not flattering. But also, I wore button downs like a lot. So maybe I'm just like a little scarred and I'm not that drawn to this. I still think it's cute for a summer top. When I first finished it, I was very skeptical. When it dried and I tried it on with some of my actual clothes, like having my hair washed and things, I was like, oh, this is not something I thought I would like, but I do think I will wear it. Probably not as often as like my t-shirts, but I'm a t-shirt kind of person. So like my knit t-shirts. So anyway, as a reminder, the straw yarn was gifted to me. I'm going to give you guys like an update later on in the year, later in the summer, to like let you know if I think it's softened up at all. Linen will soften over time. So like the more you wear it, the softer and drapier it'll be. I don't think this needs to get a whole lot drapier. So like I think the drape is already like, it's already very drapey and nice. It's not itchy at all whatsoever. It does feel like there is plant in it though. Like I don't, if you don't wear plant fibers, that's hard to explain, but like it doesn't feel like 100% wool shirt. So like it, and I think what I have heard is over time, like it feels like butter. Like it just like they become so soft and nice and like you don't notice that anymore. That's what I hear. So we'll see. I'll let you know. Okay, let's talk about the other finished object this week, which is my mixed rib camisole. My due date for this is actually June. I think I said before June 5th, but I went back to the chat and it's like June 12th or June 14th. I'm done. And I'm going to take pictures today too and get everything ready to post whenever Florence is ready. But this is a knit by Florence, handmade by Florence. Excuse all the dog hair on here. I can't live my life without Winnie hair everywhere. But it's done. It's super cute. I think I could have probably made it 1 inch longer, but I was really at my wit's end. Like I just needed to be done. And you know how like okay, so this is a tank top. There's no sleeves. Even when I have something with sleeves, I normally knit the sleeves first. So I go back to the body. And for some reason, it's like the last inch of the body, even before ribbing always. Cause ribbing I always feel like ribbing grows because it looks different. It takes 1,000,000 years to get your last inch, the last part that you need. And I feel like I measure every row instead of just being reasonable and measuring every 5 or 6 rows, right? So anyway, it felt like a trial, but I actually finished this on Friday or Saturday. And I washed and blocked it right away. The end is just a surprisingly stretchy bind off. I have like one edge right here that's like kind of curly. The rest of it laid pretty flat. I didn't pin anything because I didn't need this to grow in any way, shape, or form. And like, again, I could have, if I wanted a little bit more space, I could have, length, I could have pulled it down a tiny bit, but I wanted to see how it would bloom by itself, and it's really beautiful. Okay, so let's look at it. I don't know if you can even tell, I can tell from when I was knitting it to now, like this yarn fills in because it's 100% non-superwash and it's a pretty loose 2-ply, that it just like looks fuller, it looks denser. It's less see-through than it was before I washed it. Like this, you could definitely see around like every stitch before I washed it. So super nice. Love that. This is the front. This is the same as the Calm Down cardigan. There's like just this one little boop that I may just cut off. It's just extra fluff from the milling process. I don't really have that many others. I have like a black one in the back. Natural, like I'm not mad about it. It's just, I don't know if I want it right there for pictures and stuff. And this one's just a little bit bigger than I want it to be. It won't mess with the integrity of the stitch itself because there's actual yarn. The fluff is just like extra. I'll play with it and see what I think. But anyway, super cute. Super cute. I'm glad it's done. I think the armholes, like nothing tightened up in the I-cord that much. The neckline, like a tiny bit, like you can see it looks a little bit less ripply. And it looks okay on. And it actually goes to my bra straps pretty perfectly with this. So I think this is really going to truly be a bra friendly top. And yeah, I'm excited to take pictures today. I'm going to take 1 or 2 pictures with no other shirt on, and I'm going to take the pictures I'll probably post on Instagram with my Calm Down cardigan on. It's so cute together. I'm going to wear that next week. So you'll see it on then. I'm not going to try it on for you now, but it came out great. I'm very happy with it. Definitely something I'll be wearing. So this one, I went and got some from our little store of travel size things that my mom has down in our guest bathroom. I got a human hair conditioner because we use bar conditioners and it's not great and it's not as easy to lather in the water, but I did wash this with a little bit of wool wash and human hair conditioner, and it definitely softened it up. Like it feels like, I tried it on and on my neck, it feels less itchy than I expected it to be, knowing that I wear my calm down cardigan sometimes with that part touching my neck, and I'm like aware of what that sensation is. It's not the itchiest yarn in the world for sure, but it's definitely not the softest. I mean, it's not a super wash, and like having that kind of more open ply, it does have some more prickles to it, right? Like it is what it is. But I have high hopes that like actually wearing this on a warm but maybe not too toasty day will be pretty comfortable. Actually looks nice with this lipstick, which is new, which I'll tell you about in a little. Okay, so here we go. I love it. I'm really pleased with seriously really pleased with how it came out. Okay, let's talk about, oh, my yarn. So I have one more thing. This is my other finished object, and partly why I didn't cast anything on is I have so much yarn. So I told you I probably would not, I was not sure if I would get to plying or not. I totally did. I plied it all. I have 2 big skeins and a baby skein. I didn't weigh because they're like 80% dry right now. So I didn't weigh anything yet or count for measuring. But since we're mostly dry, look at that lusciousness. Oh, it's so pretty. You can see that purpley color in there, all that hot pink, some of this really, really, really light pink. It is pink, all of it. You can see more of that here. Okay, so what happened? I got 2 big skeins from all 3 bobbins. And this is likely more than a total of 200 grams. It's probably like 240 or 250, hopefully. So this is what I would primarily use for my tank top that I'm going to make. Then I used up all of one bobbin, so I must have plied that one definitely. Not as thin because and it was one of my wool bobbins. So the wool bobbin, I then took off and I put it on the ball winder. And then I put that with the silk combo and plied those 3 together semi-traditionally, right? Like yeah. Then there was still some silk left over, and so which really means that just my one bobbin was, like the other 2 were probably pretty close in length, and the other one was not. Anyway, then when I got to the end of it, because the end of my wool bobbin was a U, I guess, because that was the middle of the skein, I pulled my silk through it and just did a 3-ply. So, and there's not very much of that, but I just was like, I'm going to use every little tiny bit of this, and knowing that I won't wind this and put this in until I need to, and like maybe it'll just be edging and stuff like that. So it might be a little bit different, but weight wise, it should be pretty similar. And this one is fully dry, but you can see just when I get to the 3-ply, and it's actually not that noticeable. Because the whole thing is pretty pink. But when you get to a 3-ply, you tend to be plying the same color on the same color rather than having 3 different mixtures of color, which in most of these, this skein, both skeins, I have a pretty good mix of color. And you know what? I also, I plied everything but the last bobbin at the same time. But during the plying process, I went from doing it with headphones on to watching some TV with my husband to finish up the second bobbin. And I for sure started overplying, like spinning extra, because I was distracted by the show. Not great, but also not the end of the world. So that tension will work out a little bit while I'm knitting, and I'll just, you know, probably use that more for the bottom or someplace where it's gonna like, wear more. So here is a little wound guy. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. It's so pretty. It's so pink. Like, it definitely not as completely flamingo as this. I mean, like, this is neon hurt your eyeballs, but like, this is really pink, and I'm very pleased about it. I mean, like, let's look at also, here's in my neon era. I don't know if I've ever given you guys this comparison. I kept talking about how I would rather prefer, and I still would prefer, wearing this color in my neon era. This is definitely more, you know, brighter pink, but like, this is neon. Like, this is a lighter shade of neon. This is like strawberry neon, and this one is like, I don't know, the pinkest, the only pink neon. Anyway, so I still have this as backup if I need it for stripes or other things in whatever I decide to make. I'm going to count the yardage before I commit to something, but I still think like a Tulsa tank would be a good option. I don't know what weight I got. I would say it's probably a DK weight, but it might be like a tiny bit, like maybe a thin DK. Here, hold on. Let's look at it now that it's like wound with a wound buddy. Yeah, I mean, I would say that's pretty similar looking. Yeah, so maybe just like a DK weight. That's pretty good. I'm pleased. Okay, I will hang these back up on my chair so I can hang them back in the bathroom to dry. I don't know where anybody else hangs their yarn to dry, but it's too wet to put it outside, and so I definitely hang it in the bathroom. Okay, those are my finished objects. That was a lot. Let's go through the 4 things left on my needles, and we're going to talk about all of them because I did work on all of them this week. So first and most tragically, let's talk about my Hayley. It's not tragic overall, but it felt tragic in the moment. So I know I knit a lot, but like, and I have relatively good luck with things working out. Sometimes they just don't. So I made a boo-boo the first time I picked up the sleeve stitches here, and I just miscounted. And I didn't do that much of it, but I started the cap and then I had to just rip it out because trying to unknit a cap sleeve is hard. So I re-picked up. Then I got more of my first sleeve done and realized my gauge was so much smaller. And I know this happens, and I just didn't really think about it, but I was using small circumference metal needles for my Chaogus. And I'd been using metal needles on this, generally speaking, on the body, but the small circs always change my circumference, like just a little bit usually. And if it's stockinette, I think it's not as big of a difference, but going back and forth, especially in that cap sleeve, like it was major, it like was very apparent. And also I don't want my sleeves to be too tight. That's like one tragedy I can't abide. So I decided to rip all of a cap sleeve out, and third time's the charm, right? I went up to a 4.5. So I still picked up with a 4mm needle in order to keep those stitches like nice and not get too, you know, kind of separated at the sleeve pickup. And then I knit with a 4.5. My gauge is now a tiny bit big, but also, again, I'm going to stretch this out because my arms are big, so like it doesn't really matter. I'd rather have more give. So here is the sleeve so far. I'm about 2/3 of the way through. It looks little, doesn't it? But I'm still decreasing. I'm not decreasing at the rate in which Iris recommends, partly because, again, this is going to be tighter on my arm, and partly because I don't want to. I mean, I missed the first like bit, and I was like looking at it, I was like, still feels like where it would be on my arm, it'd be too tight. So I'm gonna do a slightly more rapid increase at the bottom here, and just do a couple more rapid decrease. I'm going to do a more rapid decrease towards the cuff. So in my last like 5 or so inches. This is a full like 11 inches, I think, which doesn't look like it, but I measured it last night from the underarm. And so I only have, or maybe it was 10 inches. Anyway, I have to do 17 in total length. And 2 of those are cuff. So I have like 5 more inches of pattern. But what I think I'm going to do, because this was the end of a ball, and this was the ball that was like attached to the body still from when I split for body underarms things. Anyway, as a reminder, this is my Hayley Sweater by Iris H, who is High Risk Makes. I am going to, God, the whole thing looks so little, but that's just like the nature of cable. Okay, so it sits right on your shoulder. So lovely. The cap sleeve is really nice. And it's pretty long. So I think this will sit really nicely like on the sleeve. So what I'm going to do next is this weekend, I'm going to pick up the other sleeve, and it does bring it in quite a lot. Look at that. Like it's going to bring my whole body up a little bit. Just the rate of pickup and stuff. So I'm going to, and the other thing I could have done and kept the same decrease rate, which again would have just left me with more stitches at the end, is where you pick up the underarm piece. Like I could have done this bottom third a little bit more stitches. And I could have even like added a couple extra rows to the cap sleeve if I wanted to. I'm going to do it as written because this is a test knit and I want to make sure that the pattern as written will work. So I think, you know, sleeve decreases are always a little bit at your discretion because everybody's arms are shaped differently and also length, etc. But I'm going to keep the pattern as it's written for short sleeve, for pickup, short rows, and like the actual pattern repeat. So my plan is to pick this up this weekend and knit a good deal, at least this much, before I try it on. I don't want to just determine the length of this, like, you know, add a ball, determine the length of this before I do the other one because of the set-in sleeves. You really need both on you and like mostly done to be able to tell how it's going to pull. I can't even just add the cap sleeve. Like you have to do more than that. So I'm going to do that and then I'll put it on, like put the body back on Barbiecore or something and try it on. Oh, I love this red. I forgot how much I love this red. I love this red. It's so good. Okay, I'm really excited. I'm glad to pick it up. That was painful, and I was like, am I just going to put this back down and not worry about it? But I was like, you know what? No, we're almost in June. I would like this to be done by the end of this month. And so I just need to get, you know, pieces of it done every week. So that is where I am with that. A reminder of size and things. So this is a size E, which is 48 inches. Recommended ease is 1 to 4 inches. That's 1 inch for me. The test is due August 11th. I am using 4 millimeter needles for the body. I can't remember what I did for the ribbing. I'll look. Probably 3.5, maybe 3. And 4.5 for the arms. So I'll make that note in here. I am using Cascade BFL Red 09, which is the color. I think it's just listed as 09 even on the label. And it's 100% BFL wool. It's 262 yards for 100 grams. This is also like a very sheepy feeling, like it's super woolly. And I'm glad about that. I think it'll keep the cables really crisp, but I think when I wash it, the same sensation will happen as with my mixed rib, and I probably will wash it with a little bit of human hair conditioner also when I do this one, so it is a little bit softer on my, you know, chest and like upper back. And what I will do is I think it will, like, just all of the stitches will bloom, like the whole thing will just fill in a little bit. Which is great because there's no, you know, plastic coating or whatever that happens with the superwash. So that is my Hayley. Next up, we have the Sundial top. And I said I was going to pick up sleeves for this, and I did not. And I thought about it, but you know, sleeves didn't feel like my friend this week because I did the Hayley first. And so I just decided I'll do sleeves another time. And I added like 2 inches, maybe 2 inches to the body. So now it's really looking like a t-shirt. We don't have to talk about this one for very long because that was really all I did. but it's looking very t-shirty. I know, very cute. So definitely this week I'll attempt a sleeve and see how that goes. And I think this is good to have the body. Also, this is my desk project, so I've just been working on it like a couple rows a day at my desk. I really have not done too much with it, but that is just a knit for the knit along that Iris Makes Knit Along, which is happening until July 1st. It is a size 5, 44 inches. Recommended ease is 0 to 3, -3. I am using 3mm needles for the body. It was a 2.5 for the cast on and collar. That is Explore Knits and Fibers Cashmere Caverns in the colorway Grapefruit, which is 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon, 435 yards for 100 grams. And it's just like it's such a nice yarn. It's been really pleasant, even though that fingering weight bodies are hard to for like anybody, but also if you're like an XL or bigger, it's just a lot of stitches, even though that's like, you know, you feel like triumphant because you've gotten rid of all of your sleeve stitches too. It's still, you know, they're a bit of a trial. You just have to go through them, which is why I normally do the sleeves as like breaking up the monotony. It didn't feel like a sleep week. You know, sometimes you got to just listen to your your crafting mojo. And so I just moved on with my life, and that's quite all right. Let's go to my Market Henley. So this is a test knit for Claire Jackson, who is perfectly knotted. This is a top down drop shoulder waffle stitch Henley. I'm so excited for this shirt. I can't even tell you. I'm going to just do the details up front. So this is a size 52 bust. Like I said before, Claire doesn't do numbers or letters. It's just because the chart says 52 inches on every part of the chart. You just have to know what your bust is going to be. The recommended ease is 4 to 8 inches. So for me, that's like, what, 5? And it is, I am using 3.5mm needles for the body. I'm actually going to check here. No, I'm using 3.25mm needles for the body. I think my original cast on was 3.5. I let you guys know I ripped that out. So this is 3.25mm needles, and I am using Explore Knits and Fibers Denali sock in the colorway Flock, which was last year's Flock special colorway. It is all of the Seattle colors in a variegated, and it's 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, and 400 yards for 100 grams. So here is what I have so far, and I am absolutely gobsmacked in love. I love it so much. So I told you, I didn't even show it to you last time, but I told you I had to redo the back panel. So I had just done the short rows last week. Then I put a progress keeper on just more for myself to see what I could accomplish. And I really wanted the back to be done. So here's my little Hello Lavender Flock stitch marker. They were across each other last year, and hopefully this year too, they'll be next to or across from each other. Anyway, so I picked that up there, and then finished the arm hole increases and stuff. And reminder, this is going to be like the clay, where like this will sit on my back like here, not way up on my shoulder. So what I've done so far is I picked up the left side of the neck, and here's my Hello Lavender. Because of the Seattle, I figured I'd use one of her other Seattle collection. This is a little latte. But look at that pickup line. Isn't it pretty? Yes, it is. In fact, very beautiful. So I picked up last night, and I did all of the no increase section. So this is like what's going to sit. Well, this is my left shoulder, but sorry. This is what will sit. So much hair. Okay. Like this little piece right here. So from the back connected to here, and then I'm going to do some neck shaping, and then knit the whole of the buttons. There's 3 buttons on this, and I think it's only like this wide or this long. So like to here, and then I'll join the bodies and do the armhole increases on this side. So there's quite a lot more front than there is back, and that's just the nature of this kind of drop shoulder. Because you're doing a lot of different things on the front, it never feels like it takes that long. Whereas like once you get to the back is just like short rows and then just a lot of knitting. Once I join, it'll kind of feel like that, but I think I'll do armhole increases pretty soon after. So I actually don't think it'll be that bad. Yeah. And I want to definitely make progress on this week. This is not top priority because I have also until the end, until flock to finish this. And I'll be totally fine on timing, but I do want to get a good portion of this done in June. Like a lot of it, not all of it, but a lot of it. Okay, that is the Margaret Henley. Okay, let's move on to, gosh, is it my last cast on? Yeah, I think my last project that is on the needles, which is my Stripey turtle tank. So this is my knit along, featuring all patterns by Emily Curtis, who is Gently Chaotic Knits. Again, if you want to join, we have a Discord, which I'll probably keep live afterwards, open live afterwards, and you can do any Emily Curtis summer pattern, I mean, and the dad sweater if you want. I think just garments only will count. And in hopes that you'll want to wear this beautiful garment you make to flock to take pictures with us. I am connected to a lot of balls again. Hold on. Okay, just one extra. I am doing good on this stripy turtle tank. I am also going to cast on a color tip T once this is off the needles. And what else? Oh, I have some extra announcements. So let's talk about this first, then I'll talk about more knit along things. So I finished my front panel. I know, hooray, hooray. So that's front panel done. Can't you tell it's gonna be gorgeous? I'm actually so excited for this. I was kind of unsure about the linen color, but I'm really pumped. And then I picked up the back, and I don't have a, oh I do. I just have one little baby pin marker here. On the back I've done, you know, one full color repeat and most of another. And on the front, I guess I didn't show you the progress keeper, but the progress keeper is here. So I had done most of the front before last time, and I told you I had like an inch or more to do. So I just had this last full repeat, I guess. I did like a full repeat and a little bit. And then these are like the tiniest little baby straps. But it does, I mean, it is a turtleneck, like it's very close fitting to your neck. So there's not a lot of extra going on. The back just joins right to here. So that's that. And then I will be finishing up the back. I think this is like grafting together, maybe a 3 needle bind off. I'm not really sure. The back and the front. I just decided, I put this down on like Monday. I was still working on it. I was like, you know what? I have other things I need. I like have deadlines for I need to get done. This one's like so hard. It's so hard to hold bottom up things for you to like reasonably see ish where I am. There's so many ends here. Oh, not that side, but like this side is fringy goodness. And I think I do want to get them cleaned up before I do the armholes, just so that they're like not in the way, because that's going to annoy me. So I started sewing in the bottom of this. And I might skip right up to armholes and do those first because that's more important, and then finish sewing in all these body ones. And yeah, I'm trying to determine, I probably do want to do the armholes in linen. I'm going to do the neckline first, but I might want to do the armholes like in chinley or something. Like, I don't really know. I don't have a firm opinion. It'd also be kind of fun to do the neck hole in like chinley. I don't know if I have enough yarn actually. Once I get through the back, like I'll be pretty close to out, so of all the colors. Anywho, it feels like I did a lot of the back, but I really have not. I mean, not quite half. So yes, I don't know. I'm kind of hoping I'm done with this next week. By next week. there's no rush for it. Obviously the knit along is going to continue happening, but I do want to do my stripey or my color tip tee. And so that is going to take quite a lot of time. Another fingering weight garment. I have been itching. I mean, obviously my Hayley is DK weight, but like I have been itching for a true DK weight. This was too. So like I can't say I've not knit in any DK weight things. But one with less complications, not a bunch of cables and not an open cardigan type thing. So we'll see. Okay, other things to talk about is the sizing. So that size is size 7. It is 44 inches. Recommended ease is 0 to 2. That's just a little bit under that for me. 3mm needles for the body and the ribbing. And I actually I don't know about the neck hole, but I imagine it's probably also a 3. Maybe it's a 2.5. This is all Explore Knits and Fibers Denali sock in linen, the main color, and then the summer tonals, which were from 2023 summer market. And I will remind you what they all are, since now I really know all of the names because Sylvan told me the last one. So I'll do it on the tank top, I guess, so you can see them nice and close. So in order of what I've been doing, this is Chinley. This is Alto Stratus, this gray. This is Daybreak. This one here is called Trastevere. And then this one is Rose Quartz. And so like I said, Ariel, why I knew I wanted linen was watching Ariel's podcast, and she did her Vertices Unite in like full skeins of this set, because this was a set of 6 colors. So I have a mini of linen as well as the rest of this ball to finish with, which I think I can actually, I'll be fine with just the ball. But they all came together. So she knew that she liked that set, and so she bought it. And the Vertices Unite only takes 5 colors. So she didn't use this tealy color, the Trastevere, which I knew would look good with this combo anyway. So I was going to use all of them, but which gives me 5 stripes, which is, you know, a regular mini pack. And so I knew I'd be able to make all the whole top with that. But anyway, Ariel just used her Trastevere though for a little one skein shawl, and it's so cute. It's a really pretty color. So that's the one that I didn't know the name of because I was watching her podcast, so I knew what color she was using when I started this. Just cheating. I didn't look back at Explore Knits, but then Sylvan also reminded me. Okay, let's move on to the thing that I need to share for this week about the knit along. So as a reminder, there are now prizes for this knit along. Finished objects can be submitted by Flock Weekend, and I'll leave it open until Flock Weekend. I maybe I'll close on like Friday, and then I'll select people to win. And the grand prize is yarn of your choice. There'll be at least 3 options for you to choose from. The 2 from Sylvan, 1 from me, and we'll see if there's anything else that gets thrown in there. 3 patterns from Emily Curtis, and I have something exciting to share. I have a very wonderful and kind watcher who asked if she could send me something to add for the giveaway. And so she makes project bags, and she sent me this very adorable project bag. So her name is Katie, and her handle is Katie's Randomness, and she has an Etsy shop, and it's so adorable. So it's got a nice little handle on it. Sorry, I'm like flopping all over the place. It's got a nice little handle on it, but it also has, this is my preferred method of like bag. It's a little drawstring with one on both sides. It's very sturdy. Yeah, and it's like double lined. It's super nice. It's got a nice pocket on the front side. Actually pretty, like that's the whole front. Yeah, and I think this would be, I mean, it's probably a sock or like one skein shawl kind of bag, but yeah, super cute. And because, you know, I'm in Seattle, and so she picked the most perfect pattern, which is a bunch of coffee type beverages, coffee, tea, some maybe boba with bubbles on the top. Anyway, really cute, really fun. So now this is going to be part of the grand prize winner. So Thank you for sending this. Katie's so sweet. She just reached out to me and I was like, of course, why not more good things? We love all the good things. I'll link her Etsy below if you want to check out any of her things. The other thing she sent me is actually something I didn't put it on a bag yet because I wanted to show you. But this is so sweet. It's flowers. And it's just a strap. And I was at first, I was like, what can I put this on? Because I don't have a lot of project bags. Like, I know we've talked about this before. My mom has made me a few. And I have like one or two I've bought more recently. But what I know what I'm going to use this for actually is I have this little sock bag. It's got a zipper on it and it's cute. A friend got me on vacation like many years ago when she was on vacation. She bought it for me at home. And I love it, and it's perfect for socks. I can only fit one skein. It's pretty small, but it doesn't have a strap, and it bothers me. And all of the time I'm thinking like, I wish I had a strap for this, because it's like, I can shove it into another bag, but I can never just take it by itself. And now, Katie, thank you. I can take it by itself. So I'm very excited. I'm going to add it on there. Plus this little tassel is so cute. So yes, thank you very much for contributing to our little earnings, you know, random draw giveaway. So that's very exciting. Okay, that was acquisition. Okay, so that is semi-acquisition. I mean, it's an acquisition for the giveaway and a thing for me, plus something really fun for us to talk about for the knit along is I will throw it actually in the Discord because it's really going to be more for that group of people. But I am going to host, I know I said this, I'd like to do one in June and July, a little happy hour type thing. So I'm going to put some dates out there for the people in the Discord. So if you want to join, please let me know. We'll host it on Discord. That's also a nice thing about Discord. It's like there's like free voice channels, so I can pop on there and anybody who wants to can join me for just a little knit hour. And I will probably pick an evening West Coast time, so anyone on the West Coast can join, which will be a little bit late East Coast or otherwise, but that also works best for my schedule, you know, being a mom, etc. So yeah, and it'll be next week, maybe the week after. So I'm going to put out some dates, and if you want to still join the Discord, please do, and come hang out with us. We're going to just chill, maybe have a fun beverage, maybe just have a tea. That's what we end up drinking at knit night whenever we're at someone's house, is just always tea. Okay, I have one other acquisition, and the reason I'm going to talk about this is because this also was gifted to me from a wonderful follower, and so I want to just give her a shout out, but also, like, this is not knitting related, so just FYI, don't get thrown off. Actually, what is knitting related, there's two knitting related things. Is one, I totally want to use this as a new notions pouch. Is this not the cutest thing you've ever seen? I love mushrooms. This is going to fit really great in my, hold on, it's right here, in my bag from Tomato Moon, which is mushrooms, like perfect little match. Okay, and this was gifted to me from Valerie, who is a watcher on the East Coast. She lives in West Virginia, and she's super sweet. She's the person that actually connected Carrie and I to each other from Can Be Crafty. But here's a knitting related thing. So here's stitch markers or stitch stoppers she got me. Like, they're narwhals. How cute is that? That's probably the cutest. I have unicorns also, but like narwhals just make me giggle. They're so cute. Okay, so I have narwhals and, hold please, I need to get it back in this little pouch. This, which I've actually never seen before. These are knitting needles and yarn, also stitch stoppers, but they're on this awesome little thingy. You guys, I'm so good at explaining stuff. Hold please. I have a lot of things in my hands. Okay. They are on this little thing that you can take off the ball. It honestly looks like a barb piercing or something. It's not, but so you can take them off. Well, maybe it is, who knows. And you can put the ball back on, so you don't lose them if you only need them for a minute, or you can just have extras and you can dangle it from something, and it both has a very nice little clip or a keychain, so that's a more permanent thing. I mean, same amount of permanence, just harder to get on and off. But this is also helpful for other things. So I could add a couple of like extra helpful things on here and then just use this little keychain to clip it onto whatever bag I wanted to use it on, which is nice because honestly, I just throw these in bags and like hope I can find them later. So thank you for keeping me organized, Valerie. But why she sent me this was just because she's nice, and she asked because I do love lipsticks, as you all know, and I am often wearing like different shades of various shades of red or berry, but she asked if she could send me a couple of lipsticks, and so I said yes, and that's obviously like the nicest thing ever. I'm kind of obsessed with all of these. So this they're called Lime Life by Alcone. Not a brand I have any lipsticks of, and so I have a couple of colors here. This one is Cherry Pie, which yum. And then I have Sugar Plum, which is like a very me shade of like purpley pink. Then a mascara, a lip gloss, which will just, these are all matte colors, which will make it a little bit glossier. Then this one that's called just like, it's a lip rouge, which is in a little different of a container. And this one is called Red Velvet, which I really like this color too. It's reading more orangey red than it actually looks in real life, just on the camera there. And then the shade I'm wearing today, which is called Cocotini. And it is Cocotini. I don't know if you guys know this about me, but, and people don't often ask about my lipstick on here. I've had a couple of people Instagram me, but, I almost always layer my lipsticks, and that's like a thing I started doing when I was young, because that gives you more shades. And as a person on a budget, that's really important, right? So this is Cocotini with a little bit of something that's like a lighter, also similar brown family, but lighter pinker color in the middle, which makes your lips just like, it just gives it a different dimension. In case anyone ever wants to talk lipstick, I'm always here for that, always. I have definite favorites, and I also like, I am non-discriminatory in what I'll try for lipstick. One of my very favorite things is like very cheap stuff from Target. So just FYI. Yes, that was so nice. Thank you, Valerie. So you'll see more of those shades featured here over the coming weeks, but I'm a sucker for a good lipstick, and I don't wear them like very often in my life unless they're matte like this, that are like long lasting, where I'm not going to get tons on my coffee cup and or my husband or child, because I will be kissing them. That's my life. But I will say, I just had this coffee, and you can see here just the tiny, I mean, like there's almost this tiny bit of the inside piece, which is probably not even this, like the darker shade on there. And that was a whole cup drink, so that's pretty good. Okie dokie. That's my acquisition. Okay. Oh, here, sorry. I did pull it out. Here is Cocotini. It's a pretty color. I didn't ever talk about this. I did put on, I didn't show you all up closer. These are the buttons I chose. And these are vintage cheapo buttons that my mom had in her massive button stash. So yeah, I just picked something I had a bunch of. I wanted something kind of neutral, and I picked like 5 options and took them to knitting time and had the ladies help. And so they helped me pick out definitively, which was really helpful because I didn't even know. I had no idea what I wanted. And then let's talk really, okay, so the other thing I didn't get done this weekend was just editing my test video. It's partially edited and I just never finished it. So I'm going to finish that this week for sure and get it up probably on Monday, just so that I'm not stacking one day apart from each other, also because editing takes a lot out of me. But I'll do it this weekend. Let's see what else is going on. Okay, sorry if the angle changed a little bit. I went and took pictures and then realized I never filmed what I read this week, and I like sharing that. I like having the record for me. So I'm gonna share that now. I actually spun all of that yarn listening to a love story. That pink was too happy for me to throw Wheel of Time in there, but I am gonna get back into that. What I've read this week, I finished, the last 20 minutes of Penny's Protector from the Icehome novels by Ruby Dixon. It was a storage trunk. That's what I have to tell you about it. Okay, anyway, if you want to know what I was talking about, watch last week's episode. The other one, okay. I went on like a little bit of a contemporary romance kick this week. I think it was partly that pink yarn and also just like having some of these projects I wanted to like crank out. Plus it was a holiday weekend. I just want something light and fluffy, and I'm allowed to do that. So I read The Cheat Sheet. That was the first one I read, which is The Cheat Sheet #1. It's a series. I think there's only 2 out. I'd have to look. By Sarah Adams. It is about, gotta love pro athlete books. Like a professional football player, quarterback, and his best friend, and of course them figuring out they've been in love with each other for a long time. It's sweet and like sticky sweet. It's so cute, but also it's like one of those things like, yeah, all his best friends on the team are also super good, amazing guys, and totally like not creepy or rude or whatever. Yeah, so I believe that. But it was really, really cute. And I think like the main premise is like a fake dating thing. So that's if you want to know. Okay, the other thing I read this week was a book that's actually been on my list for a really long time. It like surfaces all the time on like Book Talk and other things. Is called That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon. It is the first of the Mead Mishaps series. I know there's at least 3 of these, and this is by Kimberly Lemming. It's cute. It's in a magical world, and I'm not going to give too much away, but essentially they find out that the whole kingdom has been like duped by a demon. And so this girl somehow gets roped into, her name is Cinnamon. Cinnamon gets roped into having to save the kingdom, like very much unwillingly roped into it. And it's very fun. It's like very fast paced. There's not like a ton of intricate plot, but like enough world building that it's interesting and fun. So I had a good time with that one. And I'm definitely going to read the other ones because I think like one of them is her best friend, and I don't know who the other people are that show up in it, but it looks fun. Then I read Love in Other Words, which is a Christina Lauren book. Okay, what do I have to say about this one? This is one of those books. Okay, so this is kind of like a reconnection of childhood sweethearts through a lot of like really blurry circumstances, like why they stopped talking to each other. And it's like it's like a first love story. I do and don't like these books. So whenever you're like going back in time, and I mean, okay, I know Christina Lauren, they're going to throw us a happy ever after. Like that's their brand of magic potion they put out in the world, right? I knew it was going to happen, but I just was like the whole time so sad for the fact that they didn't get all of their growing up, coming into themselves time together. And I don't necessarily think that their separation made them better people. So it wasn't like a necessary, like we needed to grow up to be able to be together. It was like just really horrible, something kept them apart. Anyway, You don't find out until the end. I'm pretty sure I cried during this one. It was really good. It was definitely like a tearjerker. Not my favorite of their books, just because it felt really heavy. The whole thing just felt kind of heavy. And I think it's partly like I was just dreading knowing something pulled them apart that was gonna make me mad. And it both made me mad and super sad. So there's that. But if you want tearjerker, go for it. Okay. The next book I read was, I read like a lot this week. Again, it was a long weekend, so it's fine. And Mike went golfing like a lot. He was just like gone. Okay, this is called Painted Devils. So this is the second of the Little Thieves series. It might be the only other one that's out. I think the third one comes out this coming year or early next year. Anyway, this is by Margaret Owen. The Painted Thieves was the one about Vanya and her, I don't even know, all the first book was so nuts, but essentially like it was Vanya's stolen identity story, the first one, and sort of the whole book, like it even says like, this is how I got caught, you know, that's like how it starts, which isn't true for, I mean, it is, you know, whatever. That was a really fun story. This one is similarly fun, more of like going on an adventure story rather than like figuring out the plot of the land. You still have to figure out some sort of plot, but this one is that like Vanya creates a cult on accident. It's actually like pretty hilarious, the whole her bad attitude and all of the things. It's just they're so funny. Again, it's her being with Emmerich and them trying to figure out this thing, and it adds on such, it's not even a cliffhanger, it's like just a decision that breaks your heart, and you totally get why. And yeah, it's just really interesting. That little world it's so great, and all of the side characters are so amazing. Obviously we get some of them returning, and that's perfect, and I love it. Yeah, it was really good. I mean, also part of the cliffhanger is, you know, there's a character that's like in the very end. They do this sort of, it's hard to tell because I'm listening to the audiobook, but it seems like almost like it would be an italicized part of like a thought or something that's happening outside of the main storyline. And so it was sort of like an epilogue thought of somebody gets involved that is, you know, going to be like the main part of the third book. So you know it's coming, like you know at least who one of the bad actors is going to be in the third book. Anyway, that was interesting. Okay, the next one I read was The Bodyguard by Katherine Center, which is about a bodyguard, but it's about a female bodyguard. So it's she's like somebody who is in executive personal protection or something like that. Anyway, that's like what she calls it, but she's essentially a bodyguard trained in like lots of ways of protecting and killing other people, and mostly just like saying that it's like mostly risk assessment, right? Like they're located in Texas and mostly work with like oil executives and others, but she goes all around the world to protect people for whatever reason. And because she's like a woman and rather inconspicuous looking, she doesn't like, you know, draw you to the fact that she is a bodyguard, right? She's not the only person that works at this company. There's other women, there's other men, and you know, whatever. But they get an assignment that is a movie star, and obviously there's some fake dating involved, and it's so good. And I definitely teared up at the part that there's just something you don't see coming, and it was good. And a little tense, and yeah, all the things. So I really enjoyed that one. Okay, and then I started A Dawn of Onyx last night, and I am really here for this. I think that's a series, and I don't know if it's like just started or what's going on with it. I'm going to have to look into it, but it's by Kate Golden. I've heard really good things. This one's also one that's like been on Book Talk a ton and on BookTube, and I am very interested in to see what's going on. I'm like maybe 25% in. Anyway, I've discovered very little. Like I know a little bit about the world, but she's doing a pretty good job so far of like, this is a relatively complicated kingdom. Like we're in one part of the kingdom, we move to another part of the kingdom, you know which parts are at war right now. She alludes to these other ones, but it's like sort of like she sprinkles in a little bit of like the history, or like, you know, she's not just telling, it's like there are reasons she's like talking about some of the things that are unique about this kingdom setup. There is very little about the magic right now, though there is magic involved. And there are magical creatures, some of which like the character was not sure that they were real, and they are real. They show up. So this is like an interesting thing. Like, I think you're learning as the character is learning. And she led a sheltered life, but she's a healer. I like books about healers. I feel like yeah, it's always an interesting perspective when you're in a war book as a healer, right? Like, that's part of what's interesting. Anyway, so I am just started on it, and I really like it, and I'll let you know more next week. Oh, I want to talk a little bit about cast-ons. So I'm going to flash a picture up of a test knit that I'm in that I'm going to cast on this weekend, and I'll show you what I'm using. So this is the Vice Versa shawl by Bridget. My friend Bridget. And I did say that there was another Bridget knit coming, and it was a secret until yesterday, or what's today? Tuesday. It was Wednesday or Tuesday. She put up a video or a picture of it on Instagram, and it is something that I could absolutely spin for successfully, most likely. And I would love to do that. But when Bridget was here, we had this idea. Well, okay. She had this idea after we went to, so she was here for the EKF pop-up at La Mercerie. And when we were at La Mercerie, if you remember, I bought this very fun birthday cake, confetti, rainbow goodness. And I was like, maybe I'll use this for a shawl. And this hot pink here, that's very fun. And then Bridget texted me like a couple days later and was like, what if you use that for the Vice Versa, which she was working on while we were going to La Mercerie. So I knew that this was coming as a test knit, and I told her already that I would participate, obviously. And it is going to be La Mercerie's like one of the patterns that they feature for Flock. So it'll be done, ready, published at Flock. I think like Flock weekend it'll be published. So you can get fiber or you can get yarn to make it, and it's super pretty. So obviously the picture was already up, but it's got an I-cord spine. This is how the construction works. It has an I-cord spine, so it's similar to how I did the I-cord cast on for the Batch Broom. God, that took me a minute to think of. Similar to what I did for the, but it actually just, I think you just make an I-cord and then you pick up on either side of it rather than getting the stretched elongated stitches from the I-cord cast on, which is probably smart. Anyway, Bridget has videos, and it'll be help videos, etc., that comes with it, because that's a slightly different way to construct. But the nice thing about it is whatever long thing you cast on, it is winged. So it's, you know, I don't know, a parallelogram, but it tapers on both sides evenly, and it has brioche reversed. So obviously you could do this a ton of different ways. You could use smaller amounts of yarn on each side and have two totally different sides, or as the Vice Versa, like traditional, what she shows is you have one side with your, you know, brioche stitch showing, and the other side, your other color brioche stitch showing. That's the real difference. And so when we were talking, she said, what if you did that with a black, this bright pink, this light pink confetti with a black, and my I-cord spine, the hot pink. And I said, why, Bridget, you are a genius. And I really did. So that is actually what I'm planning to do. So yes, I could spin for this, but just to make my life a little bit simpler, and because I have this and I'd like to use yarn that I have in stash this year, and because this is the most fun idea ever, and I will absolutely be wearing this shawl myself. I'm not going to give this to anybody. I can't wait to cast this on. So I was kind of waiting until Bridget had put out, well, she has her videos done. We just got the pattern like last week. But I wanted for it to be public because really, quite frankly, filming those secret things was a little taxing for me to like keep track of all those extra video snippets. So I am now going to cast this on this weekend for sure. This will be the first thing I cast on because I need to get it started. Not that I don't have a nice long time to get it done, and it's a shawl, but it does starting with the big, going to little, I think is going to be a triumph. I will feel so happy about it. But it's 2 complicated pickups because you're picking up along the I-cord and you want to make sure that like looks really nice for the spine. I will be needing to focus on it. So I think I'll probably, well, maybe this won't be the first cast on, but it's something I'm going to cast on this weekend when I can have like a few hours to really think about it and it's not nighttime. So like during a baby nap, I'm going to take some extra time. I'm going to really think about it and I'm going to cast this on and get it done. I am going to see if I can use the cordsmith for this. I can definitely use the cordsmith for fingering, but I want to make sure it's not, the I-cord's not too loose, because when you're picking up on either side, I don't want it to flare at all. So I might have to just do an I-cord. We'll see. I don't have the mini yet, so I'm sort of, it is what it is. It's not a big deal. I'm going to wind these though today, so I have them ready. Okay, the second thing I'm going to plan to pick up this weekend is my gift knit needle needs to get filled. Because it's been several weeks since I finished, I mean, a long time, I feel like, since I finished Carissa's gift knit, which I did gift to her. She loves it. I think I said this last week, but I did put a picture on Instagram of me wearing it, not her, because I didn't want to pressure her into taking pictures for my my knitting Instagram. Anyway, I will be casting on my sister-in-law Lauren's Daydreamer next. And so I have the yarn, I have the pattern, I have everything waiting upstairs. I need to sort through some of my interchangeable needles and just make sure I have what I need for that. But I am, reminder on this, and I'll say it when I start, but I'm going to, from the bat, like, I had a moment where I was just like, I can't, the other night I was going to pick it up and I was like, I can't make my mind to do this right now. It is a high-low hem. It just has, it's a split hem, and it has one that's like 2 inches and one that's 1.5 or something like that. I'm going to make them even hems though, because I am doing this backwards. So Lauren is intending to wear the V in the back. And since that's her intention, I could just do the same with the longer, you know, swap them. And I might do that. I mean, it is a really cute look to have it there. I just like don't, then I feel like she's committed to wearing it that way. I'll think about it a little bit more. This is what I got brainstormed on. I think even would make it easier. And I just have to decide if I want them to both be longer or be like the shorter length. Probably the shorter length, because honestly, Lauren's not very tall. And so I don't want it to be like, it's just already oversized. I don't want her to be swimming lengthwise. Yeah. Okay. I've decided I'm going to make both of them the shorter length, which makes my life a little easier. So I will cast that on, and have another bottom up thing on my needles. Okay. The next thing I'm going to cast on is my moonset tee. And the debate here is just, do I cast on my Ever After sweater, which is another test knit I have signed up for with Claire Jackson, and it's a worsted weight sweater. And no, I'm not going to wait till the end because it's a worsted weight sweater. But I also like we just got the pattern, and there are questions floating out there, not a lot, like just little things for language and understanding. And so Claire's already released one update, and I sort of want to wait one more week to see if there are other things that come up from the beginning, so then I can firmly knit from like the next version if we get another one. If we don't get a next version by next week, I'll still cast on. I think that's going to be my decision for this, so that I am working, you know, solidly from like version 3 or 2, which is good. I think that's really good. And yeah, and that's going to be in that Wild Terrain yarn from Backloop Yarn Co., which I pulled out the other day or the other week to show you. And that'll be a worsted weight knit, and I think that one will fly by. So I'm actually really excited to get that on the needle and cast on. But I need my moonset. I need another make 12 on my needle. So the Stripey Turtle Tank is in my make 12. That's number 3. And then the moonset will be number 4. And as I cast on the moonset, I will also probably cast on my salty air tea shortly after that, because I also want to have that for most of the summer. So I need to get some of these fingering weight t-shirts on my needles. I will say it's really nice going into the summer. Like, this is a new summer top. The tank top is a new summer top. The stripey turtle tank will be done before it's actually nice here, which, remember, we had that one really nice warm week, and like, it's been, I'm gonna have pictures in the sun this afternoon, but it's been like just undetermined if it's going to be nice or not, and it's mostly still chilly even if it's a little bit sunny. Yesterday it rained all day long, so you know, that's our spring here, and grateful for the rain. We got to keep the rain going. We didn't have enough snow this year, so for the mountains and for the forests and for less forest fires, we want all the spring rain we can get, because we know it does not rain here in the summer. So that's where I am. 3 big cast-ons this week. Now that I have set it out in the world, it will happen. Hopefully. I will continue working on some sleeves, the Margaret Henley for sure, and hopefully finish up my stripy turtle tank. So like a triumph all around. I am really excited for these summer makes. I'm really excited for flock. It just feels like it's going to be here so soon, and I'm so excited to like, it'll be so depleting for me. I know this already. I am a extroverted introvert, and I very much need time to recharge after something that's that many people, but I love to meet new people, and that I feel already connected to. Like, this is just the best community ever, so I can't wait to meet some of you in real life, and also just see other makers that I follow, and also people that I've, you know, chatted with, or people I've test knit for, or use their yarn, and get to say hi to them and maybe show it off. And honestly, there's so many things I'm gonna wear at Flock, and maybe I'm gonna have some outfit changes. This is what Sylvan told me the other day. I was like, but what will I wear? Already thinking about Flock. And she was like, bring a duffel bag, have a wardrobe change. And I was like, Sylvan, you're so right. Partly because one of the things we want to do as a Pacific Knit West and with Emily there is all wear our pike place knits while we're in Seattle, and it's the first time we'll see Emily since everyone hopefully will be done their pike place knit at that time, and so we need to get a picture together. So like, that is one outfit. I'll obviously want to wear one of my Emily Curtis knits for pictures, and just so many other things. Like, Claire's gonna be there, my Margaret Henley will be done, maybe I'll want to take a picture with her. I don't know, it's too many options. We'll see. That's a fun problem to have. Okay, everybody, thank you for watching. I hope that this was a good and fun episode for you. Some fun things, some things to consider, and more things for us to chat about next week as we see new projects hit the queue, which is always so fun to like see and dream of new things. If you have any questions, let me know. If you want to tell me what you were working on, I always want to hear. I think people have had some really good projects going on, and that's always really fun. Don't forget, if you want to friend me on Ravelry, I will stalk your queue and other things, because I just sometimes just like to go through and look at new things. It's like, this is a non-social social platform for me. I just like to dabble in, look at other things. And I always go on people's like project notes and things like that. So I will be putting some notes in for this today. So you'll see that and pictures show up hopefully this evening. And that's all for me. Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your day or weekend whenever you're watching this. And I will talk to you next week. Bye.